The film begins by showing the condition of Spain, which experienced a scarcity of resources for 17 months. Not only Spain, but several other countries have also experienced the same thing. In order to end this problem, the government also made an inadequate movement by arresting every pregnant woman and child to reduce the population. The scene then switches to showing a husband and wife named Mia and Nico who are planning to escape from Spain via illegal means, with Mia being pregnant. Nico is forced to make this decision because he doesn't want Mia to be arrested by the government after paying with some money in their wedding rings. Mia and Nico finally managed to get into the container along with several other people who also intended to escape. Most of them were pregnant women or families with children, so the plan was that this container would take them to the port and send them to Ireland by sea. In the middle of the journey, Nico groped Mia's stomach to confirm the condition of their baby. Mia said that she had actually not felt a kick from her baby for 2 days, and that was quite worrying, but Nico tried to strengthen Mia and assure her that their baby would definitely be born safely. Not long after, the container suddenly stopped, and it was open. At that time, there were lots of people entering the container, so the container owner divided them and told half of them to get down. Unfortunately, Nico was one of the people who was ordered to get down, so he was separated from Mia. Mia, who was crying in fear, saw from the container hole that Nico got into another green container with the number 107. Mia quickly called Nico. Nico calmed Mia down by saying that he would try everything so that they could meet again after arriving at the port. During the journey to the container port, I walked through streets filled with chaos. As a result of the crisis that had occurred, the container was hit several times by gunfire, which caused holes in several parts. It was through these holes that Mia saw that there were so many pregnant women and children who had been forcibly arrested by the police. The container that took Mia then stopped in place. The police will check the containers passing through the road to ensure that no one is crossing the port illegally. Luckily, the container is designed with 2 rooms so that the police don't know the people who are hiding, but the police turned out to be smart enough to accidentally shoot the part of the container, so he knew that inside the container there was another hidden room. As a result, they were discovered and asked to get out. The police promised not to hurt them and to take them to a safe place. None of the passengers dared to come out and show themselves where Mia was. There, he chose to climb onto a wooden box so he could protect himself. Who would have thought that Mia's decision was the right decision? Because, after that, the police shot everyone, including the children. Only Mia managed to survive the incident. She immediately sent a message to Nico so that he would immediately hide because Mia didn't want to lose Nico after continuing. The container journey finally arrived at the container port, and several other containers were then transported onto a ship and would be sent to Ireland. Until then, Mia kept trying to contact Nico, but she had not received an answer. When night fell, the transport ship experienced severe shaking due to rain and storms. In the middle of the sea, people who were still in the containers were screaming for help. Likewise with Mia, unfortunately the ship's officers didn't have time to get everyone out, so several containers fell into the sea due to the increasingly violent shaking. This incident also affected Mia, who was in the container when she was thrown and finally fainted. A few hours later, Mia woke up to find the container starting to be flooded because water was coming in through small holes. She peeked through the holes, and all she could see was the expanse of sea and several containers that had sunk. Now Mia was trapped in the water in a container, and he had to survive there until help arrived. Not long after, Mia saw the green container number 107, which was slowly starting to sink, and heard screams from the people inside. Mia panicked thinking about Nico's safety, especially at that time when Nico still couldn't be contacted. It was getting dark, and slowly Mia started to lose her will to survive. She grabbed a penknife nearby and intended to commit suicide, but her stomach suddenly moved, which indicated that the baby was still alive. This made Mia give up her intention, and she choosing to survive the next day, Mia began to make up her mind to survive in the container. She began to collect the items that were there, starting with a bottle of water, a flashlight, a lighter, an iron drill, and several other objects. Not long after that, Mia got a call from Nico. It was thought that Nico was still alive because the driver carrying the container tricked the passengers and left them outside the city after hearing what happened to Mia. Nico also asked Mia to stay calm, and he promised that he would immediately save her the following night. Mia's container was hit again by the rain and the storm that night. Mia tried to survive as hard as she could because it looked like she was going to give birth amidst the shaking. Mia finally gave birth to a baby girl. The poor baby was born in dark and cold conditions, but luckily she could still be saved. There was no medical equipment to help Mia at that time. The baby's placenta had to be removed by herself, and she kept it in an empty box. Then Mia was confused about how to calm her baby, who kept crying. However, the baby was definitely hungry, but Mia had difficulty expressing breast milk because she lacked food and drink intake. That's why Mia tried to fulfill her intake by eating and drinking as little as possible. Day after day, the food and drink started to run out, but until now, Mia was still trapped in the container, so she started to make a hole in the ceiling of the container so she could get out and look for food. Unfortunately, before she had time to finish, her drilling tool suddenly broke down. This also made Mia very frustrated because she was hungry and thirsty. Mia was finally forced to eat her own baby's placenta because she couldn't stand it anymore. The next day, Mia again tried to cut a hole in the container with a folding knife. However, it turned out that the folding knife was also damaged as time went on. Mia was getting weaker and weaker. Helpless until one night, Mia dreamed of her first daughter, Uma. It turned out that Uma was a victim of government arrest when the regulations had just been implemented. This is what made Nico determined to take Mia away from Spain because he didn't want Mia and their future baby to also be arrested by the government. The next morning, it was raining. It fell quite fast. Mia quickly took several boxes to store water. After that, Mia got the idea to pull the container hole using a belt, and fortunately, it worked. After a long time, Mia was finally able to breathe fresh air, and she could see that around her was only the vast expanse of sea. Accidentally, when Mia was throwing away her child's feces, the fish started to come closer. This gave her the idea to catch fish as food. Then Mia also saw a plane passing by. She immediately took a piece of glass, hoping that the people on the plane would see that there was someone who needed help. In a hurry, Mia's leg was pierced by an iron container because the blood was continuing to flow. Mia was forced to stitch up the wound. With the available tools, the next day Mia managed to make a net to catch fish. Fortunately, Mia's efforts finally paid off because she was finally able to eat the fish, even though it was eaten raw. Mia's struggle continued. This time, she threw dozens of boxes containing words of request. Please hope that maybe someone will find it. Surprisingly, Mia and her baby, named Noah, survived in the container until the 12th day. That day, Mia finally got a call from Nico. At first, Mia thought that Nico was already on his way to save them. But it turned out that on that telephone call, Nico was about to say goodbye to Mia because he was dying. Nico's intention to save Mia was immediately destroyed because he was caught by the police and shot. Mia also told Nico about their child who had been born, and this made Nico happy in the last vestiges of his life now. Mia's hopes have been completely destroyed, she no longer knows what to do, and she even seems to have lost her reason to survive. Long story short, on the 26th day, some of the containers are now starting to be submerged in water. Mia takes Noah to the top of the container while preparing the tools. A tool to survive at night. The holes in the container that had been closed are now starting to open again, so more and more water is coming in. Mia tried to get into the container to take a photo of Uma, who was left behind, but unfortunately, Mia's leg got caught in the rope in the middle of the situation. The container was about to sink. Mia tried hard to free herself, and luckily, it worked. Once she got out of the container, Mia tried to find Noah in the middle of the vast ocean. A whale approached Mia's body, but fortunately, the whale didn't eat her. A jet of water came from the whale's back and then hit her body. Noah, and that made her cry. Thanks to that, Mia was able to hear Noah's voice and managed to find her. Now the mother and child have finally met, but who knows how long they can survive being tossed around in the middle of the ocean the next day? The seagulls gathered around Mia and Noah because of the fish carcasses that were in the water. Luckily, this caught the attention of a husband and wife who were sailing, so they approached and saved Noah. When the rope near Noah was pulled, they found Mia in an unconscious state. The woman quickly gave Mia artificial respiration. And fortunately, it managed to save his life. Then a man called the authorities and told them that they had found a mother and baby who needed help after struggling for almost a month. Mia and Noah finally got help and managed to survive, and the film finally finished.